Episode number 39 coming at your ears.
Yeah, 39.
39.
Any hoopers, any jersey numbers out there?
Famous number 39s. I'm looking at Dwight Howard might be the best one.
What team?
It doesn't say. I
39.
might, if I have to guess. I don't know.
It's a weird jersey number
Orlando?
for the NBA.
It's a kind of a weird number. That's why I think. I'm not seeing very many people outside.
39 is a weird one.
Dwight Howard, the famous Greg Ostertag.
Oh, of course.
And Tom Tolbert.
Can't forget about Tolbert.
That's obvious. But anyways, another good episode coming for your ears. In this one, we touch on, of course, our weekly events. And then we have a topic for you all today, which discusses, conferences and shows and the pluses, the pros and cons of going, like who should go to a wedding show or a DJ conference and who's it cut for, and some reasons why we actually don't attend some shows.
Yeah, I think we did a good job at touching a good point and providing like why we don't do it, but also understanding like the value in those shows.
Right.
That's what I liked about us is yes, we don't do it, but there's definitely plenty of people who should be doing these shows and finding value in it. And I think we do a good job at kind of laying both sides out.
Right. And then we'll hit you up with the grab bag again. We've got a few different
some
topics,
good socials.
some social media stuff,
TikTok
which was really
Instagram,
good.
Yeah.
You guys are going to get some nuggets out of this one for sure. So I definitely think you should listen to this, and we're going to take it back to the music by putting ourselves out there.
Back to the music.
Just letting you know that if you're a SpongeBob fan, you might make an appearance, and
you just might,
and you should listen.
But even after the SpongeBob appearance, there's so much good music in Back to the Music today. I feel like we hit a lot of like fun.
If you're a fan of
tracks.
SpongeBob and Roxette, you need to hang out.
Exactly. You guys are gonna like the Back to the Music section. It's a very different Back to the Music section, but it's fun.
A little vulnerable. Yeah, we're doing guilty pleasures today for you, so it's kind of fun.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
we need to have our guests on and do the guilty pleasures. With a guest.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
because that's a good one to ask them. Because it's just not wedding related, so it's gonna be different.
Cool.
Nice.
All right, let's get to it.
Let's jump in. Let's go.
What do you like better, Christmas or wedding season?
Mr. Gray.
Yes. The answer would be wedding season.
Bingo.
Well, you've just inspired me to hire a DJ, so thank you.
Oh, well, good luck finding a DJ who can move and shake like this.
You are now listening to Cutmaster Cast.
Yo. Welcome back, peeps, to another round of the Cutmaster Cast, your favorite wedding industry podcast and weekly dose of wedding industry insights. My name is Chris Romero.
And what's up, everybody? My name is Tony Pacheco.
And we are DJs out of Albuquerque, New Mexico. And on this podcast, we like to dive into 3 areas of discussion, including our weekly events, wedding industry business tips and hacks. And at the end of every episode, you know how we do it.
We take it back to the music, baby.
Always going back to the roots
Always
for us
going
as
back.
DJs. That's right. And today's a fun one. You definitely want to stick around and hang out because today Tony and I are going to talk about our guilty pleasures.
I've got some good ones.
Yeah,
I gotta say,
it's gonna get deep.
They're just songs that you wouldn't necessarily. Maybe you'd play at a wedding, maybe not. But like when you play them at events, like I like to play them. Sometimes they hit well. Sometimes they're just different. But yeah, there's certain songs that maybe you just don't want to.
I don't think any of mine are being played at events. My take on it was basically if you're going through my podcast or my Spotify list,
yeah,
and you're looking at the songs that I jam out to, you would probably be like, "What? Like what the heck?"
That's fair.
So the guilty pleasures.
Mine are more for, I guess, events, or excuse me, not events, like nightlife, as opposed to a wedding. Because as I look at all of these, I wouldn't play them at a wedding, but I'd definitely play them at Marble Downtown.
They're just the jams the songs that you jam out to that you don't want anybody else to know about.
That's fair. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, and once again, we'd love it if you could share the pod, and a lot of you have been sharing it out. We can see the numbers, and as they've grown throughout the year, and we want to thank you all, those of you that have stuck this out with us and have been sharing. We really appreciate it.
Yeah.
So, and you can find us on all socials at Cutmaster Music.
Yeah, we really appreciate you guys just putting it out there, letting people know that there is a podcast because, when we started it, we had, 1, 2 listeners maybe. you know?
Yeah, and I think that was my wife and maybe
And us.
maybe Sindra.
Yeah, right.
Does Sindra listen?
Nah, she doesn't actually.
What? She's not a fan of the pod?
She's not a podcaster. She likes the true crime podcast, and that's about it.
Oh, okay.
But she more of music.
She hears enough of you
Yeah,
at home.
right.
She doesn't want to listen to you on her drives.
Exactly.
Or
She'd
weekly
rather
drive.
listen to some music. No, but yeah, it's cool to see the growth, and it's just baby steps, one by one, and we've just been trucking along, having these guests on, doing our own thing, and it's cool. We're almost to 50 episodes.
I know, we're getting there. We're getting close. All right, cool. So let's start off with our weekly events. What'd you have going on?
Nothing. Whole lot of zilch.
A lot of nada.
It was great. It was a weekend off. We hung out. We chilled. We went and watched my homie. He plays for the New Mexico Bull Snakes.
Oh, I did see you post that.
Yeah, and so
Yeah.
they're a local team. They're part of the ABA.
Yeah.
If you've ever seen Semi-Pro with Will Ferrell, it's a real league.
Did they play against him?
Uh,
Against what's his name? Jackie Moon?
no, they did not. But it's it's somewhat of an organized league. It's fun basketball. I've been watching him. I've played basketball with him my whole life, so I've always supported him doing hoops outside of after high school. And this team is really cool because it's just like an Albuquerque team that is fun, exciting, and
Right.
to see the growth. They used to play at like Blades
Right.
over in Rio Rancho,
Uh-huh.
and now they were at Albuquerque High this past weekend. And the growth, they had a bunch of fans there, kids there. It was fun, exciting game, hitting threes, doing all the fun stuff, and it was cool to
Nice.
see. Yeah.
Yeah,
There's a
that's
young
cool.
DJ out there playing the fun track. I'm like,
Ooh.
good luck to you. That sucks. I hate doing stuff like that.
Yeah, those kind of events are a little bit tough.
They're tricky because you have to play music for 10 seconds.
Right.
And you're having to switch the song every time. And so it's not really.
My boy Digital Dave, man, he's a master and a pro at it. He's the DJ for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Well,
and,
yeah. See, that's a little
yeah,
different.
and the Pitt college basketball team, and some of just friends in the industry do that on a really high pro ball level.
That's so sick.
I can't imagine, at least in the beginning, the pressure that comes along with that, right?
Because you have to be having to like amp up an entire crowd of
Right.
people with like just your music. There's no real other, because the DJ at like sporting events is definitely like the music of God or whatever, right?
Right,
You have
right.
no idea where it's coming from, but there's somebody actually mixing, playing different tunes.
Yeah, and they're programming it. I know Scooter, he's another one that does it for, or no, yeah, well, Scooter does do, I think, also for maybe the Pittsburgh Pirates or something like that.
Nice.
Who is Fuse Mania
Okay.
is the DJ for the Cincinnati Reds, and he was actually talking about it on the Drew and Fuse podcast. How they brought him in, actually, and it's a group of guys with them, and they really wanted to change things up, and they wanted them to play music that just wasn't your standard, typical arena jams, right? And
Okay.
so it was a challenge for them to do that. And of course, everything's got to be clean, and you have to read the different situations
Yeah.
and the mood and all of that stuff. So, I bet you get kind of like anything, you get better over time, right?
Yeah.
I bet it's interesting trying to think of putting crates together for all the different situations for like strikeout or
Yeah.
stolen base, whatever.
He had a great collection of sound effects.
Yeah,
And so whenever they would hit a free throw, the Mario coin, ding, right? That was sick.
right.
Um,
You would do
Yeah, they would. They would do an air ball whenever the opposing team would hit an air ball. Wah wah.
you know what I
It's
would
funny.
do if someone stole the ball from somebody?
What would you do?
I would go,
That'd be a good sound effect. That'd be pretty funny.
oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
So we did that. We hung out. I'm trying to think of like any real highlights. Hit a cool speakeasy. There's a new speakeasy
Oh yeah.
called Fat Frank's.
Where's that?
It's in Nob Hill over Urban Hot Dog. It's the speakeasy under Urban Hot Dog.
I
And
don't
so-
even know where Urban Hot Dog. I'm like out of the loop now. I don't go downtown or into
Nob
or
Hill,
anything
we were
anymore.
talking about it. They are starting to, because it used to be a college bar spot. Back in my day, they used to have these Nob Hill Bar and Grill, Imbibe, and Monte Vista.
Yep.
Monte Vista's still there, but it's just not really a college nightlife scene. But we're noticing it turning into the elevated bar scene because of Happy Accidents. They had that bartender who was on the Netflix show. Like a competition, and so now there's a speakeasy at Matucci's right there. You can go to the back and knock on the door, and you have to make reservations and all that stuff. But
Oh, that's cool.
yeah, there's a speakeasy there. There's a speakeasy under the Urban Hot Dog. They've got the Happy Accidents elevated bar. You know, we're really big on like getting a nice cocktail, getting a couple of finger foods.
Yeah.
Because dinner nowadays, you go out, it's 70, 80, $100, but we can eat something at home, and then we'll go and get maybe a drink or some snack
Right.
just to feel like we're doing something.
No, that's cool. The speakeasies are always fun.
Yeah, just all of those cool different kind of drinks, and then it's a small, more intimate space. So it's really, really cool. Like that maybe fits like 20 people or so.
Right.
Yeah, you're having conversations with all these people at the bar, and then what's cool about this spot was you got to they do a collaboration with like a charity every month.
Huh.
This one was Roadrunner Food Bank, but you had to make the reservation and bring like a canned good, perishable to get in. And they call it making a delivery. So you make your delivery, you're able to be allowed in.
I dig it.
It was fun.
We need to start a speakeasy out of the back of Cutmaster Music.
Yeah.
It's going to be for our industry peeps only.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be in the industry. What would it be called?
What could it be called? Cutmaster?
I don't know.
It'd have to be like something low key.
Yeah. I don't know.
CM Lounge.
It'd be backwards, like Master Cuts.
Master Cuts.
Yeah.
I like the CM Lounge. Have you ever heard of that Dane Cook special?
No.
He used to work at Burger King, but then he's like, oh, he would tell all of the girls, he'd be like, oh, I work at the BK Lounge.
I like it.
The CM Lounge.
All right.
Coming at you.
That's right.
Coming soon.
Keep a lookout, peeps. Man. So I actually had an event last week.
Yeah, where were you at?
Yeah, I was out at, where was I? I was at Sandia.
Cool.
And it was a corporate event, so we are now getting into corporate event season.
Yeah, we are.
This was for a company. I'd never heard of them before. They're called Wall Kalmanoy.
Okay.
And they've got a branch in Los Lunas. And basically, it looked like, I think they do something with like metals. And they make different things for like, it looks like the aerospace industry and a few other industries and things.
Wow.
And it was probably about, I don't know, 100 or so people, employees of this company, and I guess they're celebrating their 85th anniversary, and they're doing all these little parties for them all over the country.
Nice.
Oh,
wow.
Branches.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so it was cool. So they called us up, and I mean, it was a pretty straightforward corporate event, and a lot of them tend to be like this, where they had a cocktail hour, and whoever was doing their planning for them, I don't know if it was like their first time or whatnot. They kind of just didn't. They didn't inform me of all of the things that were happening. They just needed a DJ for inside the room. They got a photo booth. They got the Magic Mirror with us, which was a total hit. That's like the biggest hit. I've already heard that at the last few events that and it's been the same story every time we bring that thing out. People love that thing. But they had the cocktail hour, and it was outside of the room in the foyer. Well, they didn't hire us to do that, and we didn't have speakers or anything out there. And some of their higher ups, they weren't from here, from New Mexico. They're from wherever.
The corporate offices in New York.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we were talking, and she's like, "Oh, I wish we had some music out there and whatnot." And it was like just too late. Like we didn't have the gear and equipment for it and whatnot. So yeah, but it was still cool. Then they came in, they did some speeches. They had us set up. They really liked our setup with the booth.
Setup looked clean. You had it on Instagram.
Yeah,
so it looked good.
It looked really nice. And we, of course, incorporated their colors, the red, white, and black. And they had a podium. They did some speeches and whatnot. And then dinner and then a little bit of dancing. And this group was what I would consider your kind of, so corporate events tend, at least from what I've seen, usually go one of two directions. Either they are ready to let loose, which we have some holiday parties coming up.
I've seen it.
They book us year after year, and I already know they're just going to be bangers, right? Like they're going to go crazy, they're going to rage, they're going to let loose, the alcohol's flowing, and they don't care. They have a good time. And then we've got the complete other side, that they are in front of their bosses. They are straight-faced. They maybe have a cocktail or two. They eat dinner, and that's it. They don't want to dance. They don't want to let loose. And you can just tell, like, those companies that aren't a little bit more tight-knit, like family, or closer, they just... And it does make that dynamic a little bit tougher. It's not like a wedding where you have two families, right, that are excited, they're celebrating,
close,
and they're
somewhat close.
Well, I mean, at least you have two families that are close, and it's a lot of people, right, that'll get out there and dance all together.
Yeah.
Whereas with sometimes with corporate events, you get like little kind of company cliques, right?
Yeah.
And if the cliques don't get out there and dance, then it's just not inviting. Like you have an empty space, and that's kind of what this was. It was just it was tough getting them out on the dance floor. They did get out there for a little bit, and of course stuff like kind of the Cupid Shuffle,
Probably some country.
some of the country was pretty good for them, but you just couldn't. We didn't have a crazy raging dance floor for 5, 6, 7, 8 songs for an hour straight or anything like that.
Yeah, and it's interesting too because they're from Los Lunas, you kind of can understand that because they're from like not as big of a city, they're probably a little slower paced. They're probably music interests are a little more on like country,
the country
Spanish,
and Latin.
Latin.
We did the Latin stuff. Suavemente actually, I think, and now that I'm thinking back, was like when I threw that on, and that was within maybe the first like 5 to 8 tracks.
Right, you're gonna throw bangers out right away.
That was the one. That was the one that kind of pulled like the first few people, and then
it's such a lively, fun track, and it works pretty much every time.
Right. So, but it was, and that was just kind of standard. It ended. It should have, we should have been out of the room a lot earlier. This was a little bit annoying because everybody was pretty much gone, and we're at the casino, so that you're also playing with that dynamic.
Yep, distractions.
With a corporate event, they want, especially if they're just not partiers, they're going to eat and then go hit the casino before they need to go home, right? Mm-hmm. And they probably had to work the next day. It was on a Thursday.
See, exactly too. If it's on a Thursday, they have to show up for work the next day. Right. And nobody's going to be trying to show up hungover.
So this thing probably should have been done at around 10:30 max, but then there was like the 4 people that were from the corporate office that weren't from here, and I don't know if they knew that there was like a lounge outside. And they just stayed there, and they were just sitting there. And so I'm just waiting.
Painful.
Right? We shut down the photo booth early, and I went and we were just like waiting, and we probably sat there for like an extra 45 minutes,
that sucks.
with just them 4 sitting at the table,
talking. Yeah,
they're just chit chatting.
You're a human jukebox.
Yeah, it was just like, oh my gosh,
leave.
Yes.
No, I get it, and some people are. Yeah, they just don't know, or.
Well, and
some people are like, well, we paid for this DJ, so we're gonna stay here.
And I don't know. They were, I don't think they kind of realized or understood that they could actually go to an area that was probably a little bit more lively because literally it was ballrooms A and B at Sandia, huge ballrooms,
huge space,
big space.
It's just them 4.
It's just them 4, and I was just, not being rude.
No, it's. I don't think you're being rude, but it's just there's certain ways where it's like, okay, we're done. This event is pretty much over. I'm a human jukebox at this point. You're better off plugging in a phone or and you guys can just move on and help me. So
I just don't understand why you I know I would just want to go to an area space that's more lively, right? Like literally the lounge is perfect for you to go still have your drinks because I don't think it was an open bar,
but it's still a nice place to hang out where everybody else is hanging out,
right?
Versus just like a big ballroom with the music bumping and you 4 just kind of there. It just feels different. But it's like you said, they're older heads. Maybe they're in their conversations and are fine with it. So
I don't know.
And you did you played your music for them. You did whatever you could, and so
it was cool.
They were happy with it.
It was all good. But that'll
happen.
That kicks off the corporate season for us. So the next few events that we'll be chit chatting about here on the pod are going to be corporate events and holiday parties.
I'm chilling for a while till December. I have Marble Heights for Black Friday, but that's it for this month. Mm-hmm. I think that could be cool. I was like, maybe not, because I'm in the evening. So once everybody's done shopping, they do their thing, they come grab a drink at Marble Heights.
Hopefully they didn't spend all their money at Best Buy trying to get their 80-inch television.
Hey, I used to do it.
I know, I did too. I used to do it all the time.
Yeah, I loved it.
Every year.
And nowadays it's funny because it's all digital. Like you just get it online. You don't even have to go in the stores. And I'm like, it was so I'm glad I just got the last tail end of it because I did it probably in college. But you would sit in line.
Yeah.
I camped out, and they'd give you a piece of paper. It was like a pink paper that was like, okay, this is your TV slip. You go in, you give it to them, and they'll go. And now it's nothing like that. But
yeah,
it's more convenient.
We'd go all over the place. I would be just buying stupid stuff, like going into Lowe's to get some $5 tool set I didn't need.
Yeah.
See,
that's a good thing. You got me thinking. I'm like, I need a new tool set.
You know what? That was the kind of stuff I'd start walking through and then just buying stuff that I didn't even know I needed that.
Smart bulbs. I like for Black Friday.
There you go.
Nice.
So, all right, cool. So, so let's go ahead and we're gonna actually get into a topic today. I think this might we can dive into this for a minute here, but
Yeah.
there's some wedding shows. It's kind of like wedding show season and DJ conference season. So
Yeah.
I thought we'd chit chat about that a little bit. I know this past weekend we had, I believe it was the Diamond Dash show, Shauna's show with the Wedding Collective.
Mm-hmm.
And then right now, as we're speaking, the DJ Collective is going on. And then last week, Wedding MBA happened. So I thought that we would discuss these shows a little bit. And, you know, like for those of you that haven't maybe been to a show, you know, like what the expectations are, why you should, and maybe why you wouldn't want to go, like kind of just pros and cons to all of this, you know, because I've done a lot of shows in the past, and I still do some currently, and I'm going to give you some insight as to why we as a company with Cutmaster either do or don't do some of these industry events.
Yeah. You know, I think it's important to understand, like, there's levels to it. I think when you're first getting started, it might be really important to start doing a lot of these shows, being more involved and trying to get into it. But once you're year 10, year 15, you know, what are you, year 18, 19, 20?
Yeah, I'm kind of old.
No, I don't
even know.
Right? But that's
I
okay.
started the company in 06.
Okay. But you were DJing before that, too.
I was, right. Yeah, like,
but, like, you know, like, there's levels to where you're at in your career, and sometimes it's more important to start going to these in the earlier parts. And then as you grow, things change, you know? And so,
Right.
I think it's important to talk about these things and just kind of dissect it.
So I figured we'd start with, you know, like let's start with the local shows, you know, like Diamond Dash, and they're geared for different people as well, right? So like something like the Diamond Dash, or I mean, we're doing a show at Los Poblanos, their open house in January. You will be able to see us there. But the Diamond Dash and shows like that are geared toward couples, and specifically wedding couples. And that's the main client, right?
Yeah.
You know, for those shows, and they're cool. You know, you get to go visit all the different vendors, and they're offering typically a lot of free swag. And
Right. I like it for their perspective because it allows you, if you have no idea what you're doing, it's a great place to start because
Right.
you can get a good taste of all these different vendors. Often they're willing to give you some kind of discount at these places, promotional codes or whatever if you book with them there. So
Right.
it's a good way for you to go to at least maybe one or two as a bride to just get a feel for like what this industry is and how many vendors there are.
Yeah.
There's so many different styles.
I think I was gonna say you can figure out kind of what the trends are that are happening
Yeah.
with florals,
Oh, yeah.
and colors and things like that. So it's definitely, and it can even be overwhelming. That's one thing.
Holy
I was talking with
Yes.
someone in my bowling league last week, and I was asking her, I was like, "Oh, are you going to the show this weekend?" And she goes, "Oh, I just went to the one a couple of weeks ago." And she was like, "I don't think I can do anymore. Like, it's just so overwhelming. Like, it's a lot.
It's very overstimulating. You're at like a big convention hall with 500, 600
15
people.
DJs pounding their music." And so
My line was, "Hey, have you found a wedding DJ yet? Have you found a wedding DJ yet?" But you know, like, yeah, you got all these people asking you different questions and all these different things, and it's a very overstimulating day, and it can be a lot and overwhelming at certain points. But I think it is helpful too because it can, especially if you just go in with a certain mindset, like, okay, today we're going to be talking to florist and photo. Don't talk to anybody else. Let's get in, get out. Do whatever we need, you know, and then there's good opportunities, right? To like I said, get discounts, fun freebies with swag bags and all that stuff. So
yeah. So on the other side of it, for vendors, we get asked every year. You know, I didn't, and this is by like typically like couples that have either booked us or are thinking about booking us. You know, hey, we didn't see you guys, or are you guys going to be at the show next week?
Yes.
You know, and 9 times out of 10, the answer is typically no, you won't see us. And so this is kind of like a slippery slope, probably, you know, within the industry. I think for vendors, if you are new to the industry, you should do these shows.
Yep.
You're trying to build business, and you're trying to get leads in any way that you can. And this is a great way to do that and to get out there and put your product out there in front of people.
I was going to say, it's also a great way to just get acquainted with individuals in the industry.
That was my next point was also to do it for the networking aspect of things. You know,
I love that in the earlier parts.
Totally, and it's great, and there's camaraderie around a show,
Mhm.
right? Like
It's
everybody's
fun.
setting up together, and it's pretty fun being around everybody else and all the industry peeps. So why don't we go, and why aren't we doing them? So the biggest reason is that our calendar is already full and overflowing, and so we're lucky enough to be at that space right now, right?
Yes.
Where we only have 3 of us DJs currently on the roster. If you've got newer DJs that are looking to put themselves out there and introduce themselves to couples and people in the industry, the shows are a great way to do that. We just don't have that crew right now that is looking or needs to do that at this point. So then it becomes a return on investment, right?
Yeah.
And the ROI for us, I mean, a lot of these shows, they're pretty, they're not cheap to go get a booth.
In a section, yeah.
And so then for us, really, it just becomes us paying to go network with other industry peeps, right? Like
yeah.
that's really what it ends up being, because the calendar is gonna fill. So it's one of those things where we have to decide, well, where are you going to put your money? And it becomes a business decision at that point. And so we haven't done any industry events in a long time, or kind of like these. Nothing against Diamond Dash or any of the other, I think, what is it, the New Mexico Wedding Expo, places like that.
No, they do a really good job, and they really do a good job at staying organized. They put a really good show on, and that's what I liked about being a part of it. But like you said, where we're at in terms of where Cutmaster is, the leads that we generate don't necessarily come through that avenue.
They don't.
And so because of that, we don't necessarily need to go that route. But if for some reason we did get 5 more DJs and we're noticing that we need to start getting outreach more and start reaching out to more, maybe that could be an option. But
Absolutely.
yeah, we're right now, our calendars are filling. They are reaching out to us, and we're learning how to market our brand and our business through different avenues other than just that. But like we said, it's a beautiful space to start as a vendor, because it gives you a good idea on who's into your industry, who is not in your industry, right? Like getting a feel for just everybody, the competition as well as the camaraderie too.
Right. So that's the Diamond Dash, and I would just categorize that as like a local actual wedding show.
Yeah.
So then let's talk about like Wedding MBA. All right. So that happened last week. This is a show that we have done in the past as a company. I know we haven't done it with you since Tony's been with us, but
I've attended it 3 times.
And we've done it in the past. It's a great show. I think we're looking at it for the group for next year. Going, because I know like Victoria hasn't ever been.
Yeah.
And we are onboarding some new members as well. That this is a show that I think gives you 100/200 level education.
Yeah.
It's great to network with people around the industry on a national level.
Mm-hmm.
And more so just for us outside of the DJ industry. So we used to go to a show called the Mobile Beat Conference, and there was another one that was another DJ conference, and now those.
I did Mobile Beat twice.
Yeah,
it was cool.
And I did Mobile Beat a lot
Yeah.
for a long time, and so Wedding MBA was cool. It was just different because we were able to attend different tracks, right? Like the planning track or trends and
Yeah, they had
things
different
outside of DJ.
Yeah, like how do you explain it? Different sections or presentations, I guess you would say.
Yep. Yeah, they have different tracks that you can go in and check out. So we're looking at that one for next year, and maybe taking the team to that.
I think it'd be cool to go to like one that's not wedding related at all, like social media.
There's some really good conferences I've spoken with. So there's like the National Bar and Nightlife Conference. There's a huge social media conference. I know my friend Jody, she runs Sight and Sound Entertainment out
in Vegas.
In Vegas, and so she's there with all the conferences because that's where every conference is at, right?
Yeah.
Is in Vegas, and she's gone to some social media ones that she said have been excellent.
Yeah, I talked to her about it a little bit in Phoenix, and they got some great insights on Instagram and stuff.
Yeah, we might need to look into some of those too. Because we're with marketing, that's one of our main outlets.
See, like that's exactly like we can find value in investing in that because we'll get a return. We'll apply it to our marketing strategies now and actually see a return on investment. Did we talk about us getting a booking through the pod on here? I don't know if we
I
have or
don't
not.
know if we have talked about that.
It's pretty sick. You know what I mean? Like that.
We
This is
did.
just random, but it's also a
This
form
happened
of
within
marketing.
the last couple of weeks.
Yes,
And
we had a mom, right?
right. A mom of the groom hits us up and she says, "I've been listening to your podcast and I've been watching you on social media and I love everything we're seeing."
Boom.
It just
And we didn't have to go to a trade show to make all that happen, right?
right. It's
Now I'm
kinda
saying
crazy.
there's a lot of value in going to them. Like I don't want to notch them, but like where we're at, we're seeing that. So it's important for us to just keep feeding it.
right.
You know?
Exactly. So then there's another conference that's going on right now called the DJ Collective. And I think groups and conferences like this are really important for whatever your vertical is in the industry.
Yeah.
For photographers, for planners, probably florists. And basically how this started was a group of 12 of us that Brian Bunasisi, he's a travel DJ. And at that time he was out of New York and Florida.
Yeah.
He was going back and forth a lot between his two companies there, and he gathered 12 of us who I would consider some of the big dogs in the DJ world, at least at that time. This was in 2017.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, we're gonna get together and rent a house in Austin, Texas, and we call it the DJ Collective, the Real World Edition, because there was 12 DJs all locked up in a house together.
Airbnb.
It was an Airbnb. It was
cool.
It was such a cool house too.
Yeah.
It was super,
nice.
It
The
was
house
super
is
cool in Austin.
Yeah.
And it was just really special, right? And then the next year, the second year, they opened it up to like 12 more people. So it was like 24 or 25 of us.
Okay.
And then it grew into something like what it is now. And it's just not, for me, it's not the same experience and not a knock. So Brian Bunasisi, Jason Janai, and Joe Bunn put on this conference, and it's great. It's a great conference. But now I think this year they have like 180 DJs, right?
Yeah.
And it's not the same experience as what it was. And again, no knock on them for doing their thing.
Right. It's very successful. It looks awesome. Honestly, they were at like some kind of cool, like Electric Playhouse vibe today.
This year they're in Atlanta.
Yeah. Right.
And so I get hit up every single year that we don't attend one of these because these are good friends of mine, and they're like,
yeah, especially because you're part of the original 12.
right? And they're like, why aren't you going, man? Why aren't you out here? And so for me, like this year, to go to Atlanta. So first of all, it's an investment to go be a part of this conference.
Yeah.
I think a ticket's like $3,500 or something like that.
Yeah.
That's just the ticket. That doesn't now get you your hotel.
And it
That's
used
not
to get
flights.
all that, right?
When we first started, I think we all put in $1,000, and that included our Airbnb.
Yep.
And they've grown it into something
Sure.
that's
And
just
it's
a little
good,
bit
right?
different.
I get it. Yeah. But
But the whole idea behind this conference, though, originally, and it's still the premise of what it's about today, is that you're getting 201, 301 level business acumen. They're bringing in the big dogs, speakers from outside the industry. So, like you were saying,
That's cool.
but people, I remember the very first year we had somebody from Lexus that was talking with us
Dang.
about their marketing and branding. Really cool stuff. It was really cool.
Nice.
And they're still the base of what they do is built around that, right?
Yeah.
But for me, just the connections and having those deep conversations and building a really, that connection, it's easier to do with 12 and 24 people than it is to do with 180.
Yeah.
And
But even then, those started at the original conference you went to, right?
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, and are you talking about like Mobile Beat?
Exactly.
So, and that's and I think you bring up a good point there. For someone, I think we have, especially in the DJ industry, major egos, right?
Yeah.
I know everything. The way I do
I'm
it
the
is
best.
the best.
It's working, or whatever. Yeah.
I don't need more education. These DJs get on here and they think they know everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's really easy to always be on the defensive. We have people in our current market that you can just tell they've got that mentality, right? They don't want to play in the sandbox with everybody. It's their way or the highway, and that's fine. Do you? But if you're able to let down those walls and those barriers and be open to learning, be open to networking, that's exactly what I did. And why when I went to my very first conference, my very first Mobile Beat conference, I met like a lot of these people. And I wasn't afraid to even go up and start chatting with them, right? And picking their brains. And they were really nice to allow me to do that. And then I became good friends with them over time. And so now I'm a part of this DJ think tank group, which is about, I think it's a group of roughly around 50 of us. And these are the best business.
These guys are doing it.
Event minds.
Men and women.
In the industry. I mean, really, it's, I am by far not the smartest person in that room with them. Like, it's not even close. And that's what
you crush it though with like search engine stuff and like SEO and stuff.
And that's what we try to
bring your stuff to the table too.
Everybody tries to bring what they're good at.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And
that's the coolest thing too. I've only gone to a couple of these conferences, but yeah, we've talked about it where everybody kind of chips in and does their part to really help elevate everyone. And so it's cool to see.
Yeah, and without going to a conference, I never would have found a group.
Yeah.
This group like that, right?
Exactly.
So I'm super thankful for that, and then and just being able to be open-minded.
Yeah.
And I think that's what all of these are for. Like, if you're in the industry, and whether you're a photographer making cakes,
wedding planner,
doing invitations, I mean, I really highly encourage you to find your group, right? Like your people that are doing things like this on a higher level. And you know what they say. I mean, when you surround yourself with people that are smarter than you and better than you, whatever you want to call it, like you have no choice but to rise with them, right?
Exactly.
So, and that's what I would highly encourage anybody out there that's thinking of these shows to do. And then over time, you make business decisions, right? So I still think there's value in all of these, even the Diamond Dash and all this stuff that we just currently don't attend. And the only reason is because I'm putting our time and effort and energy into some other ways.
Yes.
So one of those, which I want to talk about, that I'm going to go deeper into in a later episode, but this next year I am actually going to be participating in what's called mentor pods.
Yeah.
And basically this is business coaching in the event industry, and it's put on by Matt Radicelli, and it's a business coach, and it's going to be a pod, a group of other like-minded businesses in the industry.
How many are in the pod?
I believe they try to get between 15 and 20 or 22.
Okay. Small classroom
in a pod. Basically, that's really what this is, right? It's a business course. I have to commit for a year, which I'm doing, and I've already committed.
Nice.
And I'm going to be in pod number 7 and doing that for all of 2024. And I've never had a business coach before.
Yeah.
Pretty much everything I've done, I'm super blue collar, which most of us are in this industry.
A lot of people, yeah, exactly.
We are blue collar. We're do it yourself.
A lot of the guests we've talked to, they've just been figuring it out.
True entrepreneurs.
Yeah, exactly.
Every single one of us, right? And so for me, I feel like this is the next step in the evolution of Cutmaster Music and really taking the next steps to grow this company. Is joining and doing this mentor pods. Matt Radicelli was he founded a company called Rock the House Entertainment.
Yep.
Became a $10 million a year.
Doing crazy stuff for the Super Bowl. Like the videos they were showing us, insane.
His company was crazy, right? And he sold the company, and now he's doing this, and he's basically doing coaching. And so then I have plenty of friends that have already gone through the previous pods.
Nice.
And
I saw that he was DJing the Wedding MBA after party.
Yep.
That's sick.
Yeah. Mad Hatter is what he goes by.
Mad Hatter.
Yeah. So I'm really looking forward to that in 2024.
See, and that's something for you that you've understood. Like, this is something that is an investment, but it's going to give me a return, right? And so you're just making these decisions but based on your business. And so that's where you can kind of do internal, just kind of audit, see what works and what doesn't work for you. If it does provide more value to go to the Diamond Dash, invest in it. Buy a spot there and talk to 500 brides. Figure out a way to get in there because there is a lot of value there. But if you're noticing, like we are, somewhere else that's working or something like that, maybe somewhere else. But again, I think what I like is if we did have 10 more DJs and we needed more opportunity to get more in, easily we would use it, But right now where we're at just doesn't align with our business marketing.
No, exactly. And so my plan is to have Matt actually come on a pod episode. He's a good friend of mine.
Nice.
He's in our DJ Think Tank
cool guy.
family.
Such a cool dude.
And he's already reached out to me. He's like, hey, when are you going to have me on the podcast?
Yeah.
So I said, we're going to do it. But I actually want to start
Sick.
going through the mentor pods.
Of course, right?
And then
comfortable.
I'm going to bring him on and talk about it because I think mentor pods could be a good option for some of you in the industry. Doesn't have to be DJ associated.
You haven't started the course yet at all?
I haven't started. We start in January.
Okay, yeah, for the year. Yeah.
But it's basically in the wedding industry. He's focusing on the industry and more so the events industry. I don't even want to limit it to even just weddings, but some of you out there might think about this as the next step of evolving.
Next way to level up.
Right. Mm-hmm. So stay tuned on that.
Nice.
I'm looking forward to definitely starting that.
There's
2024.
a lot of different values in these conferences, and I've always had a lot of fun with them. But for Wedding MBA, I went to the first one, gassed, came back ready with all these different takes, all these different practices that I wanted to apply and all that. And then come year 3, you're like, well, I heard that last year and the year before that. And so there's certain conferences that just don't really hold the value that they did in the first few times.
And for me, I even in the wedding or the DJ conferences tend to be a lot of the same speakers.
Yeah.
And so it's just like, I've already heard him or I've heard that talk, or
when I went for the third time, I made it a point to not go to any kind of like DJ ones because I was like, well, I know that. I'm going to go to this public speaking one or this marketing one. You know what I mean? And like, that's the cool thing about Wedding MBA is a lot of those options,
Totally.
So yeah, there's a bunch of different things. Fun fact, I was in Vegas during that shooting. I did Wedding MBA that year. Crazy.
Yeah,
talk about it, but it's fine.
Yeah, I remember that.
Nuts. That was a crazy time in Vegas. But
I was not at that one.
Yeah.
Because I remember that happening and going, oh my goodness.
I was in the Excalibur when it was happening.
Dang.
It was wild.
Glad you made it.
Yep, made it out.
Yep.
I'll show you a crazy video after the pod.
Nice. You know what time it is?
It's time
to do it.
You love it.
Gonna do it.
It's for
the
grab bag.
Yes. Perfect.
That was good.
All right, so we've got a few grab bags.
Yes, we do.
Tony's going to start us off with...
Mine are more social media marketing.
I like it.
Yeah, one is going to be around TikTok, and the other is around Instagram. Now, I'm pretty sure this one is around TikTok.
SEO is a real thing. Here's what you need to know about it. So TikTok is the #1 search engine for Gen Zs, and it's changed a lot in the past 6 to 8 months, and you can generate a lot of business by understanding how to leverage this properly. Before, it used to be a cap of 300 characters in the bio on TikTok. Now it's 2,200. However, you don't want to use long captions. You want to be very intentional and use specific keywords that would match what someone types in if they're looking to search for your question. If I'm teaching you how to create engaging videos on TikTok, my caption should be how to create engaging videos on TikTok. What you will now see is a little search at the top of your caption or your comments that will show you how your video is ranking based off of the internal SEO of the platform or program. This is super powerful for you because it might not go viral right away, depending on what trends or what happens within the community or the industry. So I've seen that videos that I've launched 3 months ago that didn't do that well when I posted it first do really well later because of this SEO function. Again, it's like Google in the sense that whatever someone is typing in is what determines the relevance for that topic. And what you create now might be evergreen for the next 6 months to 1 year. So if you create educational and value-based content using TikTok SEO, your content can go viral for months.
I like it. It's a good tip there.
Yes.
And that gets back to something that we were discussing earlier. Just put stuff out there.
Yes, exactly.
Put content out there. I mean, nobody's going to go viral typically on their very first post, right?
Yeah.
And you don't know when something might go viral.
Yeah, you never know when something's just going to hit. What's it called? Nick Spinelli is a great example. He was just putting his mixes out, and he didn't have I don't know what he had. I know it wasn't a million or whatever, right?
Right.
He gets one sick Missy Elliott mashup where she reposts it. He's viral now. Now he's got a massive following, and it's a lot bigger. It was pretty big beforehand, but because he has this machine he's been feeding, he's got the Nick Spinelli show on YouTube, he's got his TikTok, his Instagram, all of this already there, and now it just blows up even more.
Right.
But one thing I liked that she talked about was how if you're using the right keywords, I related it to blog posting on your website.
Yep.
People can search best wedding DJ Albuquerque 2024 or something like that. And then we come up first, but people are searching that. And as long as we are in those keyword searches, that will be up higher. So just making sure you're being really intentional in your captions and not dancing around it and not trying. No one's going to be reading it. They're using that to search for your video.
Right.
So keep that in mind. And hashtags, I think like 2 or 3, don't overdo it, but make sure those hashtags are really intentional and they're exactly what you want it to be. A great example was I just posted a video yesterday of a wedding we did on Instagram. I did we'll talk about it a little bit. Or no, let me bring it back. On Instagram, I put it's a good night when the groom gets behind the DJ booth, right? And that was just fun, something fun to read. For TikTok, I wrote, the best wedding DJ in Albuquerque is at it again. That was the first sentence I wrote because they're going to look up the best wedding DJ and then boom, that video comes up. So it's all just about how you're phrasing the captions and making sure you're being really intentional on TikTok. And we'll talk about it more on Instagram next after yours.
So speaking of Instagram though, and not knowing when some things are going to blow up. So I just happened to be looking at this post, and this is a post that I made in August 24 of 2022, actually. So last year, right? And had no idea. Look at how many views this thing has.
Dang! Almost 28,000.
28,000 views, and it's just the video of my son and I.
Can I kick it?
Yeah, he's singing. Evan in the back seat is singing, "Can I kick it?" Yes, you can. Can I kick it? It's like a
28 grand.
Yeah, it's like a 15-second clip that has 28,000 views, right?
Oh man!
And I just realized this the other day.
Yeah.
I don't think it. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what happened, but when that
just blew up somewhere
along the line.
I saw another post or another tip that was when you post, you can. We might have talked about it, but do not to the feed, and your video will blow up even more because it's just going to random accounts instead of only your
followers.
Yeah,
Ah.
something interesting like that. But yeah, right, 28,000 for that random. You just never know what's going to go viral. Right. And I think that's a good, important little note to be mindful of is staying true to your content and not getting caught up in viral moments too much. TikTok is kind of tough because you want to use viral sounds,
the trends, right?
And now CapCut with viral templates and stuff like that. That's kind of where it gets tricky. But also too, you don't want to get caught getting viral doing something you're not even in your industry, and then everybody's expecting you to do that.
Right.
The
algorithm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like a one TikTok guy, he throws his drone in the air and it circles around him while he dances to like a Justin Bieber song, right? And now if he's not doing that, people don't like his stuff. And so he's caught in this, it's not even his thing.
Shoot.
That's what went viral. And he's got celebrities and all that, but now he's like falling off because he's not doing that anymore. And it's just, you kind of get caught in the virality when, if you're just staying true to your content and your content goes viral, just keep posting.
Yeah, then
good.
Just keep doing you.
Spinelli.
I like it.
Yeah.
Okay. I've got one here that is talking about trends.
2023 wedding trends that I think we're going to see a lot less of in 2024.
Nice.
I hate to be the first to say it, but
it.
champagne towers are getting a little bit overdone. I've seen
Wow.
really cool, innovative takes on it though, like this martini tower, espresso martini tower, which is just so fun. If you need to cut something from your wedding budget, it should be the fancy dessert table. I had one at my wedding and literally not a single person touched it.
Wow.
So I've noticed that this year too. We've had plenty of weddings that do the dessert table or late night snacks.
Yeah.
And nobody goes over there and touches it.
I always like the late night snack as the DJ.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah,
because it's a table on our way out when we're loading out, a table full of food that nobody's touched.
It's true.
Fancy, elaborate wedding invitations, I honestly think are going to go. It makes literally no difference to your guests if you send an electronic invitation and it's so much cheaper. However, this dog up here is super cute, so no shade to this person. Lastly, and for the love of God, get rid of the hangover brunch. Celebrating all weekend is so much fun, but when the wedding is over, just let people go home. Sundays at home on the couch are elite, and that's not getting changed going into 2024.
Okay. I like Sunday brunch recap with just the homies or anybody can come, right? But maybe do it at a house. You know what I mean?
Right.
Put the game on I don't know. But I like those trends. I think those are hot takes because
Right.
those are a lot of things where I'm seeing, oh yeah, champagne towers are on the way up, but it's just as fast as they go up, they're coming down because if they get overdone, then but I like a champagne tower. I like a personal champagne tower. You use it to kick off the toast, no cake cutting, and that's how you do it. But
Yeah, I haven't seen very many of them at my events,
I've
but
seen a couple.
yeah.
And I like that in substitute of the cake cutting and the dessert table. That's interesting too. But I will say every single event, a planner or somebody's like, please take these desserts because
Right.
they spent hundreds of them.
Yep.
And they're so good. Oh my gosh.
I know.
We took funny.
I don't want to see him go for selfish reasons.
Yeah, right. Funny story. We went to we did our wedding at Los Poblanos. They had a bunch of desserts after. And they gave us 2 to-go boxes. Me and my assistant, I loaded mine up. I was like, "Oh, baby, let's go." He got like 2 or 3, and we load up. We're on the way out, and I'm like, "Oh, let me get my snacks." And he gives him. I grab his 2 or 3, and he takes home my big old bunch of desserts. I got home, opened it, and I was like, "No." At least I get a taste of these. You know what I mean? But I was so bummed.
There was a few weeks ago where they had a bunch of donuts, and they filled
yeah.
up a whole Dunkin' Donuts box that I took home.
Dang.
Yeah, like they're
Yeah, see, and that just goes to show you, though, that people are at least dial down the desserts or something. Like, that's a smart way to cut costs. I agree.
Right.
The digital invitation, though, I don't know how I feel about that. There's something about a physical invitation nowadays
I think so too.
It stands out more.
I'm wondering if we don't see more invitations have some sort of personal element to them. I mean, so I'm not on that side, right? Like, I can't remember the last time I was actually invited to a wedding. I
got my cousins, and it was just
But I would think like getting more personal might come back around, right? Because I think number one, a lot of people don't get snail mail anymore, and so when you get something that's like personal, like it's kind of cool.
Exactly.
So I would think like handwriting a little note, inviting people.
Handwriting a note would be nice.
Yeah, that'd be
Shelby's
cool.
been sharing a bunch of awesome things to do.
Yes.
I'm like, my gosh, I loved the balloon thing. Did you see the balloon thing?
Where they were on the dance floor and the balloons popped, and then the
It was like heart balloons inside a big balloon.
I saw that.
I was like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. Or writing intimate notes for your guests for the seating chart.
I saw that one too. Yep.
Money. Like such little things that make it way more personal.
Totally.
Those are cool.
All right, what you got?
Okay, so this one is Instagram. Instagram is rolling out a new update, and I think you guys should know about it. So let's see.
Instagram is rolling out a huge update. Here's everything you need to know. First, A/B testing with Reels. This will allow you to test different captions and thumbnails on your videos to see which performs best. When you create a Reel on your phone, you can test up to 4 different captions or thumbnails. These 4 different variants will be shown to 4 different segments of your audience to see which performed best in the first 30 minutes. Whichever one wins, that will be displayed on your profile or your page. This next
Crazy,
one
huh?
is wild. If you go to your professional dashboard, under your tools, you'll see an achievements tool. There you can see the achievements you have earned and have yet to earn for posting on Instagram. Here's where this gets crazy. Creators who are 18 years and older who finish all progression levels can become eligible to get increased visibility in the feed or have the Rising Creator label featured on their page or profile, both of which help you get discovered more organically. Instagram and Facebook want you to be posting. Finally, insights. This one is my personal favorite. They're rolling out more detailed insights for you to truly understand your content. You'll be able to see insights on your reels, such as retention graphs, which shows you how long your audience watched for and when they maybe fell off. A distribution score that tells you how your reel did versus all your other reels. And other things such as initial plays and replays, which I made a video about here. What are your thoughts on this? Are you excited about this? Do you feel overwhelmed about it? Let me know in the comments below.
Oh man, I just went and I opened up the Cutmaster Music like achievements.
Yeah.
We've got goals now.
Yep.
We've got goals that we need to accomplish.
Yeah. So if you knock all those out, you're just put up higher. You're prioritized.
And we're not far like on some of these.
Yeah.
You know,
Exactly.
We need more followers, peeps, to get to the 2K mark. We're only at 1.1. Tell your friends.
Follow Cutmaster Music on Insta.
See, post likes 79 out of 100. So I don't know what that.
What does that one say?
It says 79 out of 100. So, you got to get 100 post likes on a post, probably.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay. We're close.
Close, 79.
So this is good. This is good though.
Gives you goals, different things. What I also liked was the insights. People, if you aren't looking at your insights on Instagram, please look at them. It's analytical data. I know it's a lot of numbers, it's a lot of gibberish, but if you can understand how to really dissect your Instagram insights, it'll tell you exactly what to post, when to post, how to post, what's working, what's not working. The coolest thing was the retention rate for me, because then you can see, okay, this worked because we jumped right into it right away. Oh, this one probably fell off because it took 3 seconds to get into the video or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Like really understanding how people are looking at your content. And like he said, Facebook and Instagram want you to post there too. I mean, they want to be
The A/B
competitive.
testing is
A/B testing is sick.
Is crazy. So what they're doing is they're taking what web developers used to do. I don't know if they're still doing this, but back when I was doing web development and SEO in my previous life, we would do A/B testing on landing pages, and you would create a landing page that had this picture above the fold, and then one that had this picture or these colors.
That's what they're doing
right?
with thumbnails now.
And so now, and then you would be able to see over a certain amount of time in the 3 weeks, which one performed better. Then you drop that guy off.
Yep.
But you could constantly be A/B testing, right?
Oh, wow.
Then you could bring in a new one, and half your audience is going to see this and that one, and maybe that one now performs better. Now
Yeah.
you drop that one, and then you just slowly keep rising.
Yep. And that's exactly what they're doing with Instagram posts now. So, I mean, that sounds super smart. I like that they're doing it. I like the being able to test different thumbnails, different captions, and seeing. And then the cool thing is that whatever one is doing the best, it just pushes it automatically. So you're not having to do a lot of stuff on the back end, having to fix anything.
That's the cool thing, because when I was doing, I mean, this is early on in the web development days, you had to track it, and then you had to make decisions, right?
Yeah.
And do everything manually.
Yeah, right. Now it's getting all automated and
Yeah.
AI, and it's. I think what's important is to understand that these tools are here now, and you can use them to be successful. So we are seeing it. We're seeing the success in it. So be sure to just try to be. I don't know. Just post. I would say, if anything, just keep posting, keep it up, because someone's watching out there.
Yeah, and try to track your numbers. The thing is, so here's the thing. At the end of the day, if you're not doing it, your competition probably is, or at least now they have the capability of doing it.
Yep.
And I know a lot of us out there on the same way. It's like, oh my God, one more thing.
It's overwhelming.
That's one more thing I got to do. It's the world we live in. If you're not up on it, you're probably going to get left in the dust.
Have you heard about GPTs?
Yeah.
Dude.
Yep. And how you
Holy
can
cow.
you can start developing their own. Like
You can what I saw a crazy one. They downloaded a book based on sales and marketing and all that, uploaded the book to the GPT and said, design a marketing plan based on this book. And then boom, it did it. And it was insane. But it was like geared towards my market in energy drinks is what he did on TikTok. But
so
I'm like, it's fast.
Just this past week.
It's going fast.
It's just a little
I'm not
thing.
gonna lie.
I went. I'm gonna give a secret away to you out there. Here's a little
nice.
nugget.
Nice.
Okay, so I went to our homepage, and I looked at just our calls to action, the little buttons. Right as you're scrolling down the page, you're gonna see book now, learn more, whatever.
Yeah.
I wanted them to be better, so I went in and I said, based upon the Donald Miller story. Story branding, method,
his book or his whole method.
I would like better calls to action than what we currently have. And it went through and I had to put the content. So I copied and pasted all of our content, because it actually won't go and read a website.
Oh.
You have to put the content in. Yeah. It tells you.
Really?
'Cause I tried. Yeah. It's like, I can't access direct web pages, blah, blah, blah.
It can now. It goes through Bing.
I think, well, I don't know.
I'm telling you, this stuff's fast. It literally just got implemented.
So it
Either
told
way.
me that.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
just
yeah.
went and copied and
I got
pasted the
you.
content,
It's fine.
right? And put it on
Yeah,
there.
that works.
And it recognized everything, and it gave me options on what to do and what to
Nice.
post. And so I went and changed them. And it was just like 4 buttons, like on the homepage.
Yep.
Little thing like that.
Just rephrasing it, and it just makes it more clickable, more acceptable. And you're like, oh, genius. I would never have thought of that, So
yeah,
just
and that's
trying
it.
to get a little
That's exactly
savvy on it.
Yeah, on the let's see, like at the So the first one was a get started. Oh yeah, and then I went to explore our DJ packages. These are things that you would think that maybe like duh, why don't you just already do that? But I didn't. I had something else there. I think it said like learn more, you know.
Sure, right? But explore our DJ package.
Right. And now just little things. Check out our DJs.
Yeah.
About us. Book your dream DJ experience.
Right. Right. Instead of about us, check out our DJs. And it's such a little thing, but they elevate you so much, and it really helps you just change it. And that's what I like about the ChatGPTs and these AI stuff is they really help you. Like you give them your idea, and then they spit out just a cleaner version of it, and you're like, "Oh, yeah, there we go." So
cool. All right.
Oh yeah,
it's time. Great Scott!
Run for it, Marty!
Look pretty dope. All right, I guess that's going to do it for this week.
Yeah, I feel like we had a lot of good little takes, and this episode kind of came out of nowhere with like a lot of good little tidbits. So I'm excited.
Yeah. I'm excited too, and I think SpongeBob should
let SpongeBob
should carry us home.
I like it. We appreciate you all for tuning in, guys. We'll see you next week.
See ya.
Can't gangsters cry, 'cause lately it's been weighing on my mind. And I say I'm fine, 'cause underwater